here we are, an example of what we're trying to explain here. So Bobby found this car. It's been about 2 years, okay? And the car was in primer. It was on eBay. Primer can hide a lot. You don't know what's under the primer, okay? Which goes back to why I like to buy a car in bare metal, preferably, but at least disassemble, okay? So to start with the front clip, like I said previously, the fenders don't even matter. You can get, especially 63, 64 fenders. You can get 63, 64 fenders pretty good for probably $250 to $350 each. Okay, 62, maybe a little more, maybe not. It just really depends. Some people think that a 62 is worth more than a 64. Some people think that a 63 is worth more than a 64. That's all their personal preference.
Yes.
Some people think that a 61 bubble top is worth more than a 60 convertible. That's all their preference. That don't mean shit.
No, yeah.
That don't mean anything. So you can spend $350 for a 64 fender, or you might find a 62 fender for $50. Just depends on where you find it. You can find it on Instagram, Craigslist, Facebook, Chevy Talk, eBay, driving down the road on one of these county roads. You can find one parked, or simply networking.
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube. You got a lot of viewers that
there's dozens of ways to find a good part. Yeah. I don't necessarily have a certain go-to. You know what I mean? I kind of, when I'm looking for something, I got different avenues that I go look for something. I don't have a certain go. I tell you, I hardly buy anything off Instagram. Hardly ever.
Why?
Because the trick photography. The trick photography on Instagram is out of control.
Yes.
Is out of control, man. So, anyways, so right now this car ain't got no front clip. It's on some old frame. It's on actually the original frame.
Is this the original frame?
Yeah, because it was cut. Yeah.
That's right. The Bobby's frame that got powder coated and all that. It was originally.
Bobby has a rolling chassis already done with the LS motor with brand new Daytons and everything. So you look at this car right now. You know what I mean? As it sits, and what's this thing worth, man? Like,
to be honest, if I were to look at it, I was like, no, I'm not buying this.
You not even want to buy it.
No, it's too much work.
It's too much work. Not even five, maybe 5 bills. Okay. But if you break it down, I mean, the frame is worth like 4.
Yeah.
Okay. The wheels are worth, if they're original and they accept the hubcaps, they're worth at least $40 each. Okay. And then you got some stainless. You know what I mean? And so all that. And then the doors. Okay. The doors need attention. Right here. You can zoom in on that. Now, folks might say that are trying to sell the car, that's nothing. Right? Nothing, a little rust bubble. Man, I guarantee you this thing needs a patch all the way to here. And maybe even more. Okay?
Like
so that's an issue.
Patch.
Yeah, that's an issue. Let's go to the other side. I think the other side is already ground down. Okay, there you go. You take that passenger side down, and this is what you're gonna find. Yeah. All ugly. And it only gets worse the further you go. Okay? So now we can go over here to the back.
Secret stash box.
And we have some original paint doors that we found. I found them on Chevy Talk. Now they were about 2 hours away, but he ended up getting both doors, I want to say,
cheap. I know,
for like $200.
Yeah, great deal.
$100 each.
Yes.
And it came with one vent window.
Which that alone is probably worth the price.
So you look at the car and you say, man, the doors are shot. Well, you can get a pair of doors for $200. And we can have these doors on in 4 hours if we wanted to, or probably even faster. Okay. Trunk too. A solid trunk. I don't know what he paid for this. but it's bone dry. Up under the lip, the important parts.
Yeah, I believe his was a little bit shot. It was like split in two, and it just wasn't no good.
And this appears to be either original paint or a really old paint. This isn't primer that was sprayed 2 weeks ago.
What color do you think it was?
Probably some sort of the original beige, probably.
Sort of ivory or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very clean, man.
Okay.
Very clean.
So let's talk about this hood. Okay. This hood is primered. Okay.
This the original hood?
It came with the car. I don't know if it's original to the car, but it's primer.
We're looking at the back.
Yeah. Mainly up under here. It's not too bad.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, it's
pretty good.
The lighting ain't that great, but it looks pretty solid.
It ain't bad. Yeah. It's gonna be a task to clean this up.
Sandblasted, maybe?
No, I would wire wheel it. You don't want to sandblast a big flat hood like this because it'll warp. Okay. But I mean, you still have some issues down here.
Oh man, that ain't nothing. Should have seen what he did with my 68 hood.
So, you know, like I say, go back inside and look at the car. Right now, the car looks like it's worth $500. But today, you guys put the sporter panel on. I mean,
and this is just mocked up.
This is mocked up.
And I mean, without even thinking about it, look how straight that line is.
Yeah.
From here all the way across, we weren't even planning on that, and it just lined up perfect.
Yeah.
And just mocked up, so it can only get better from here. Mm-hmm. You know.
This was a surprise.
Yes. Well, you know what? That was in primer.
In primer.
It was in primer. It was looking really good. And then you start cutting because we needed to cut for the quarter panel.
Yep.
And when we cut it, we started seeing that it had some pieces missing.
A little bubble.
Yeah.
You get a little bubble, and it could turn into a bigger bubble.
But it ain't no thing.
No, this is still a. I consider this a good project.
Yes.
A good project. But
most people would be scared after this point. They would be like, you know what? It's time to either sell it
or
take it to a shop that's gonna charge them all kinds of money.
Sure.
Or push ahead. And I've never seen Bobby back away from anything. So we won't get it done.
No, but you know, like you go shopping online, and you could find a car that has a fresh coat of primer on it, and it's usually hiding something. Okay, so we can spray primer on this. I could put filler on that in 15 minutes and block that out and put primer, and it'd be like it was never there.
Shit.
And hang this, and we can spray the water hose on it, and you can put it online for $15,000, man. Maybe somebody will buy it.
How do you live with yourself like that, man?
I wouldn't. That's where the deception part comes in, that I don't agree with. Like, it's hard to find an honest car, man. When you hear somebody talk about like an honest car, what does that mean, man? That means that there's nothing to hide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if I were to buy a car that was already done, or driving down the road or something like that, I would ask, how old is the paint job?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just paint it last month?
Yeah.
Because if you just painted it last month,
cool,
you might have some ugly stuff come up in the near future.
Well, nobody's gonna say that. Nobody's gonna mention that.
Yeah, but if it's been painted for 10 years
and it still looks great,
well, then that's good quality.
That's something to brag about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So this whole classic car game, I don't know what happened to the market, man, but the whole classic car game